Hello again folks and friends, and welcome back to the workshop. I've got a cheat sheet here again, so I don't forget anything. Main reason for the video is just to check in and make sure everybody's okay. There's a lot of madness going around, and basically I want to make sure everybody's okay, staying safe, staying well and staying at home. And if you want to send me a comment or an email, or I'll put my email here. If you want to chat or anything, then let me know. I'm staying at home, and I'm lucky in that I'm self-employed, and I can basically, I'm turning down any jobs that come that involve me going out to a customer's house. I do OT support for people, so it's not a safe thing to do. We're in Tassie down here, and there's only about 19 cases so far, but it's not my cup of tea to be out there spreading it around. It's for the benefit of everyone to stay at home. So, and in the places where there is more of the virus around, it's madness to be out of the house, I think. So if you can be at home, please be at home. Anyway, this video there's going to be no machining. I'll just put that one in there. It's all talk. I will be showing you some things to do with my milling machine later on. So you can skip to that if you don't like the talking, but in the meantime it's just talk. Going back to the chatting over email and stuff, if anybody wants to chat about machining or anything like that, I'm at home, so I've got time to reply to emails more than ever at the moment, and I imagine there's a few people out there that are pretty bored and feeling pretty isolated. So yeah, send me an email and let me know what you're working on, or make a video, even better. But for the people that aren't making videos, send an email through and maybe let me know what sort of videos you think I can make. I'm hoping to get a couple of videos out per week from here on until the foreseeable, because it gets me in the workshop, which is good for my mental health, and gets me making stuff, and I'm learning. Every time I'm down here I learn something new. So yeah. The other thing is, Wednesday nights, Emma Ritson from Emma's Spare Room Machine Shop, and I'll leave a card in one of these corners to link to her channel, 9 PM Australian Eastern Time, Sydney time, on a Wednesday, she does a live stream, and there's usually 25 or 30 of us, mostly YouTube creators, logging into that and chatting, and it's just a good community sense of community spirit, and it's a really good thing to join in. And you don't need to be a YouTube creator, you can be a viewer, yeah, you're all welcome to come along. I'm saying that without having checked with Emma, but I'm pretty sure that's the goal. It's a public thing, and it's the more the merrier. Right, so next thing, I got some stickers from Craig Tate in the States. So he's in Ohio, and he sent me a letter, and he sent me some smiley face stickers. So they will go on the board. I'll put those on the board, and he sent me a letter as well. So I'm really grateful for that. Thanks, Craig. The sticker stream has slowed down a little bit. I think I've got most of the stickers that are out there. But if anybody else wants to send me a sticker, trade stickers, or if they'd like a sticker of mine, I can't tell you when I can next get to the post office. I've only left the house for groceries in the last week, and yeah, but I'm looking behind at the sticker board up there. But yeah, if you've want to do a trade, or you want a sticker of mine, then you can at least go on the list, and once the madness is over, we can get them sent out. The XDRO on my mill, you saw the problem I had with the tapping and breaking off the tap in the casting. That was really sickening, really embarrassing, and looking back at the video, I was just impatient with the thing. I'm used to using a cordless with a tap. I've done it for years, but only really in things like aluminium or in thin wall tubing and stuff. So if you've got like an 1/8 inch or 3mm thick tube, made of steel, you can run a tap through it with a cordless with no problem. But I'm trying to go sort of 20mm or 3/4 of an inch deep straight into a casting, and it's not never going to work. I don't know what I was thinking. And I tried to hold a nut over the tap and get a TIG electrode in there and weld it on, and that was a really bad mistake, because first of all I welded the nut to my nice new stainless forceps which is, I can cut the end off and shorten them and make it look like it never happened, but you all know now. And then when I sort of got my act together and tried again, I ended up welding the tap into the hole. So complete failure, double fail, triple fail. But one of these days I will lift up the table. I've got an engine hoist and I've got a gantry crane and stuff. I can lift up this table, put it on its side, and I'll just use a carbide end mill and mill the thing out. Just for peace of mind, because I don't like the idea that there's a broken tap in the back of my mill table. It's horrible. Yeah, so the X-axis is done. What I did was I made a new slot in the bracket, made a new tapped hole in the casting, and I think I said it was M4, but it was an M5. It was an M5 tap, 4.2mm hole, M5 tap, and I had a brand new M5 tap in the drawer. So, and it cut like butter. I was just using an old tap. That was the other problem. It was worn out, and it was a sort of false sense of, sort of false economy. But the X-axis is on, it's working perfectly, really happy with it, and I can't wait to get the Y-axis done. In fact, at the moment my Y-axis lead screw is all pulled to bits, so I'm going to move the camera and show you why, or show you what I've found. But what I wanted to do was have a look at the screw, the lead nuts and the gib and all of that stuff, and make sure that I wasn't, because I've never actually pulled this machine apart. It's quite a hefty machine, and I'd like to one day get the spindle pulled apart, have a look at it. There's a bit of slop in the drive mechanism. There's like a splined shaft on the spindle, and there's some kind of bushing with an internal spline that gets driven by the drivetrain, and there's quite a lot of, don't know if you can see that. There's a few degrees of slop in there, and I think there's 6 splines, so it's not going to let go anytime soon. But if I can make up a new internal spline, I think it's the internal one that's worn, that will make a great video, and it'll be a good lesson for me. And yeah, it'll involve taking it apart and taking some measurements first. Back to the Y-axis. I'm easily distracted. I wanted to check the screw, the nuts, the gib, and all that stuff. And I'll change the camera angle right now. Back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. This is the screw, the lead screw for my mill for the Y-axis. It's a 1-inch 5 TPI. Didn't realise I hadn't cleaned that very well. It's a 1-inch 5 TPI, and if you're looking carefully at it, you might see that the flats on the top of the screw are actually narrower than standard. I don't know whether you'll ever pick that up from looking at it, but the way these screws wear is the middle of the table is used most, and so you get wear in the centre, and the ends remain like new. But on this particular mill, on this particular screw, the previous owner was he did a sort of temporary fix. He measured the area with the most amount of wear, and found out the thinnest sort of thread that was remaining on the screw, and he's actually turned the rest of the screw to match that profile. And that means that when you set the gib, when you set the adjustable lead nuts on both ends of the screw, here they are, so they sit together in this casting. So this casting has one in there, and sorry, I'm not very organised here. This video is very much off the cuff. One in there and one in there, and this lock ring allows you to basically set the distance between these two, and that's your backlash compensation. So both of these are threaded. They both look fairly unworn. And this screw has had its wear equalised along its length. So with the backlash compensation, it should be possible to set a consistent amount of backlash along the whole screw. So I was seeing 14 thou of backlash all along this axis, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't wearing through these cast iron nuts and that the threads weren't turning into little blades, and that the screw was as consistent as the previous owner told me he made it. And it is. I think I worked out that the flat on the top of these Acme profiles should be 74 thou, and they actually measure an average of 66 all the way along. So he's taken nothing in the middle and 6 thou on both ends, which means they're less than 10% worn. And if they're consistent all the way along, I can set up a consistent amount of backlash and actually have that backlash quite low. And looking at these, I haven't been able to measure, but eyeballing, the flats on the top of these look relatively unworn. So I'm really happy about that. And I should be able to eliminate most of that backlash. There was a downside on the y-axis, there was a problem, and that is the gib. So this stack up of shims and cast iron and these spacers that are made out of machined cap screws are kind of a DIY gib. I imagine the gib was original, but I imagine it's worn, and they've used spacers on the non-wearing side to pack it out, and I don't quite know what's going on with these screws on the ends. Now if I was feeling braver, I might go out and buy some cast iron, but I've probably got to order it in anyway. The surfaces don't look too bad, and there isn't any there is some mild scoring, but there's nothing major that you can lose a pencil in. So I will end up making a new gib for the y-axis at some point. Not today, but as soon as I can order a piece of cast iron in, it'll be one of those things on the infinite to-do list. And with the Y screw, I'm happy with it as it is. There's minimal wear. I'm just going to make sure all the lubrication stuff works. There's these oiler valves everywhere, and I'm going to make sure everything's thoroughly cleaned and put it all back together. And then I'm back to the Y-axis DRO. So, right, I'm going to change the camera again. Well, hopefully that rambly section about the lead screw and the gib made sense. Basically, I was getting ready to start on installing the Y-axis DRO and wanted to check out that the gib was as tight as it could be and the lead screw had the backlash taken care of. And as I started taking it to bits, I realised I'd never taken it to bits before. This machine's less than 12 months old for me, and it's a good thing that I did, because I found out about the gib and I found out that there's no wear on the screws particularly, or the wear has been compensated for and corrected, and it's not going to wear out anytime soon. And yeah, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'll get everything cleaned, put back together, and the next video will be about the Y-axis DRO. The other thing I wanted to mention was at some point in the future, not today or this week, but added to the infinite wish list, I'm making an arcade joystick for Mary. So she's very much into her games, and she's asked if we can make one of these. And the design will be a sort of a flat-ish laptop computer-sized wooden framed box with a current idea is with a brushed metal top, either aluminium or hopefully stainless if we've got a big enough piece. And we'll map out all the holes on the DRO, and it'll be another one of those combined woodwork and metalwork projects which I love. So that'll come up at some point in the future. Yeah, the only other thing I was going to say was a repeat of what I said to start with, and that is please stay at home and please stay well. You stay at home and you're basically saving lives. It doesn't matter where in the world you are, it's going to come to your corner of the world if it's not there yet. And if you can at all manage it, stay at home. Boredom is better than infection. And a segment of our population won't survive it. So just stay at home, please. And going back to that, if you want to send an email or comment below and tell me what you're interested in. I had somebody respond to the worm wheel thing I did a few weeks ago, saying, yes please, I'd like to learn about worm wheels, and I've basically forgotten everything I know about worm wheels now. But I can relearn if needed. The other thing was someone asked about a shop tour, which I could do. That'd be a nice easy video to do. The workshop will need to be tidier than it is, but that's something I can fix. And yeah, more on the DRO next. Okay, cheers.